here we go. So you should be able to see my screen and my dashboard here. We are going to jump into a track. So I'm going to find a release that we're going to use and jump into some of these tracks really quick. So starting off with this one right here, we've got West With You by the Explorers. This is a test track that I've used before that some of you guys may have seen. But right now we're going to go, we're on the details tab, and we're going to go to the audio tab. So currently in ways, you've seen the primary audio as the only audio file here available. So now we have this addition of additional audio masters. So this is still going to look the same. Nothing's changed here. But as you scroll down, you're going to see the ability to add additional masters. And here you can see I've got another 4 different masters associated with this ISRC. So they all still have this same ISRC association. And this is very useful in a lot of different cases. And specifically, if you have, let's say, a singular ISRC that you've released that maybe for some reason was assigned, to that ISRC, and you have a different master like a studio version that is being stored underneath it, or a studio ref that you'd like associated with this primary audio. Other times, maybe you have a track that the audio file is maybe within that 5-second section that the DSPs require, and it has a slightly different ending. Maybe it has a slightly different pickup for some reason. Maybe you had to change it for a specific DSP to be playing correctly or as you would like it. So this allows you to store all of those under that same ISRC, along with if you have maybe a legacy version or a catalog version of this specific ISRC that was maybe released, let's say 30, 40 years ago. Some of your catalogs go back even farther than that. And you have that still stored under that, but you also have a remaster and you have the newest master. So this allows you to not only, and I'll jump into edit mode here, to not only keep that primary audio here as the one that's going to be going out the door to the DSP if you go ahead and distribute this release, but you'll also have the option to go ahead and add all of these additional masters, naming these specifically, along with seeing the releases they're associated with. And it's as simple as clicking this add audio master. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to a different track that doesn't have any additional masters, and we're going to talk about it from that view really quick, along with from the release view and what is coming down the pike for this feature. So here we're in a different track. We're on the second track of this album, and you can see, and we're going to go into view for the second, there's just the primary audio associated with this track. And under additional audio masters, we have no records. So what we're going to do is, let's say we do have that legacy audio that we want to add here as a reference for the time being. We can go into edit, click add audio master, and then we're going to be able to upload this file. So just like everywhere else, we can choose our audio file. I'm going to choose this audio test track 20 because it is absolutely fire. And then I can go ahead and put my track. So maybe I can say, legacy audio reference or something along those lines, whatever works for you guys and whatever is helpful for your label. So I've now uploaded this audio file. I have it processing, it's finishing right now. I've got my audio version specifically, and then I am going to do what you will always hear me preach ad nauseum, and that is save changes. Save, 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 save. Please, for the love, make your life easy. So now we've got this additional audio master saved, and this is where I want to talk about kind of next steps. In the future, we're going to be able to assign specific audio masters to specific releases. That is the intention for this to go into production. So what will happen is, if you have this release, let's go back to here. Currently, you have the ability to go ahead and look at all of the primary audio along with all of the additional audio masters. So you can see there's different ones here. Currently, these masters are held here for reference and download only. on the release level. And you can see there's this drop down of all of these different versions. In the future, the hope is to be able to assign these specific audio masters based on the specific release. So if you do have that different ending that's specifically going to Spotify or specifically going to iTunes or something along those lines, TikTok, whatever, then you can go ahead and do that here along with the specific distribution settings of sending it only to or all but whatever it might be. So that's how the beginnings of primary and additional audio masters are looking. So we've got the functionality for you to be able to store them. We're working on the ability for you to not only store them, but also push them out separately under that same ISRC, which as DSPs allow. And for you to do that by release. So that's what's going to be coming down. I don't have an exact date on it, but hopefully soon. But I wanted to get that specific functionality in front of you guys so that you can start utilizing it, as well as get ready to utilize the future state of it as well. Before I move on, do I have any questions on the additional audio masters feature? I wanted to open it up for a second.
So, Christian,
sir,
if I've encoded it into FLAC or MP3 or some other codecs, would I store them here?
Yeah, that is a great way to do it. So as Jonathan just mentioned, if you have, let's say you've got your WAV files, but maybe for some reason you also have a studio format of a FLAC file, or maybe, you have a specifically mastered MP3 that you aren't planning on pushing out the door for the DSPs, but you would like to have saved, but don't want to create another track record, especially if it's stored under the same ISRC, and don't want to burn up another ISRC. This is a great way to do it. So if you have maybe, you have your WAV here, you have a FLAC file for your studio, you have an MP3, maybe for some reason you have a super high res, like a 96K, or you have for some reason, some studio sent you a super low res wave that you really don't want to use, but you just need to have somewhere saved. This is a great way to store it and never use it again because it's 16-bit depth and it sounds horrible. But that does happen, right? So this is a great spot as well to save those different versions and those different formats, as well as those different bit depths and sample rates as needed if they're not going to get assigned their own ISRC.